Hello and welcome, you tragic things. This is Ratatosker, and today I want to walk us through the new Elden Ring trailer. We're going to be going through it, trying to derive all the information that we can out of it, and we're also going to speculate on some possible things based on the information available. First though, we're going to need some important context. On the official Namco Bandai Elden Ring website, there is some crucial information that's going to help us make sense of the trailer a lot. Reading now from the page. The Golden Order has been broken. Rise, Tarnished, and be guided by grace to brandish the power of the Elden Ring and become an Elden Lord in the lands between. In the lands between, ruled by the Queen Marika, the Eternal, the Elden Ring, the source of the Erd Tree, has been shattered. Marika's offspring, demigods all, claimed the shards of the Elden Ring known as the Great Runes, and the mad taint of their newfound strength triggered a war, the Shattering, a war that meant abandonment by the Greater Will. And now the guidance of grace will be brought to the Tarnished, who were spurned by the grace of gold and exiled from the lands between. Ye dead who yet live, your grace long lost, follow the path to the lands between, beyond the foggy sea to stand before the Elden Ring, and become the Elden Lord. Alright, let's examine exactly what's going on here. First of all, the Greater Will and the guidance of grace, the grace of gold, appear to be real things. The Tarnished, who we all will be playing as, are people who were spurned by the grace of gold and exiled from the lands between. They are dead who yet live, whose grace is long lost. Now, after the Tarnished were already gone, the Elden Ring, the source of the Erd Tree, was shattered. The pieces of the Elden Ring were known as the Great Runes, and Marika's children, who were all demigods, claimed those shards, and the mad taint of their newfound strength triggered a war, the Shattering. A war that meant abandonment by the Greater Will. So because of this war, whatever the Greater Will happens to be, it abandoned the people of the lands between, and it seems to have gone to the Tarnished. The Tarnished are bid to return, guided by the grace of gold, that once spurned them, and tasked to collect the pieces of the Elden Ring from the lords who now have them. Now about that far is as far as I care to speculate. But the interesting thing is that this is not the first time that Miyazaki has explored this kind of theme. It's very similar to what the Ashen One was in Dark Souls 3. For those who don't know, the Unkindled in Dark Souls 3 are people who attempted to link the fire, but for whatever reason were found unworthy to even become cinders, and so were burned to ash by the first flame. They are rejects and failures. In the opening cinematic for Dark Souls 3, you can see the soul of Cinder dragging your corpse into the untended graves. Now when Prince Lothric refused to kindle the first flame revived the Lords of Old to do the job for them. They too, however, refused, and so as a last resort the first flame revives the Ashen Ones, the Unkindled. In desperation, the first flame is forced to turn to the things that it already has rejected in the past. As you can see, this is very similar to what's written here about the Elden Ring. Similar to the first flame, the grace of gold is forced to rely on the Tarnished it has already once exiled. Alright, let's get into analyzing the trailer proper.
Peggy 16.
The Tarnished will soon return, guided by grace once lost. The Golden Order is broken to its core.
Okay, here it mentions the Golden Order. Let's go back a bit. So here you can see what seems like a banner for the Golden Order. The Golden Order is probably also a real thing, but it's also very likely the name of an organization. The Golden Order, the Erd Tree, the Elden Ring, the Grace of Gold, they all seem to be interconnected. You know, the Greater Will, all that stuff. So while the Golden Order is definitely seeming like it's also an organization, it probably takes its name from something that is real. The Golden Order probably refers to the state that things are supposed to be, a state of harmony, that existed before the Elden Ring was shattered. And it might literally mean order. For example, in the past trailer they talked about how the Elden Ring was that which commanded the stars. So whatever the Elden Ring is, it probably has to do with, it's probably at least loosely associated with harmony and physics. But anyway, let's move on. Okay, let's look at that again. That is such a cool way to ride a mount. Okay, let's talk about this bell monster thing for a moment. In previous interviews, they have stated that there are going to be roaming bosses in the environments. However, I don't think that this is one of them, because as you can see, there's a building on top of this rock monster. So this is probably a roaming environment, like a roaming location that you can find. The bell is probably there to notify you that it's around even if you can't see it. It is a really cool idea. Alright, let's move on. Okay, this on the other hand probably is a roaming boss. Maybe once you kill the entourage, the thing that's in the carriage might come out and fight you.
Foul tarnished, in search of the Elden Ring, emboldened by the flame of ambition. Someone must extinguish thy flame.
This is awesome. I'm really hopeful that they incorporate magic into this combat a lot better. This gives me hope that they might do that.
Will fight, and they will die.
Okay, so there's clearly spots on the ground where your horse can go and climb sheer cliff faces. It's not going to be anywhere, you can't just go up any cliff, but there will be spots where, it lets you use them as a kind of shortcut, probably.
In an unending curse.
Both co-op and PvP also confirmed. Although the PvP aspect isn't shown in this trailer, it has already been talked about. And seeing how this co-op works pretty much the same, there's no reason to suspect that the previous information was wrong. Now, isn't this dragon pretty interesting? Very stone dragon-y. And it wields lightning. Very interesting. I don't have anything to speculate on it, but I'm very curious.
For how else is a champion?
Okay, and this. Look at this thing. This is such a clear Berserk reference. I mean, it looks good as heck.
Or a lord. To be born.
The Valkyrie from a previous trailer seems to also be a boss, so that's interesting.
Well, a lowly tarnished, playing as a lord. I command thee now!
For those that didn't notice, this is the guy from the first Elden Ring trailer. He's the Elden Ring guy. Look how he's using this magic halberd. This is just more evidence that they're really going to incorporate magic in a much better way than they ever did. I'm very hopeful for the magic system. This could be a Covenant leader. This could be you getting into a Covenant or offering up a Covenant item. That would be interesting. And this is probably Marika, the Eternal Queen, that they mentioned before.
Brandish the Elden Ring.
And finally here we can see the character jump. We know that there's a dedicated jump button, and it looks like it's going to be incorporated into the combat. If we're lucky, even more smoothly than it was in Sekiro, because I thought even that was a little bit clunky. Not Sekiro itself, how the jump was incorporated into Sekiro.
For all of us.
And finally, the most important and best part of the trailer. A January 21st release date. Now, some people in my chat during the live stream of this trailer were suggesting that they probably would push this back. I don't think that's the case, because if they needed more time to work on it, they wouldn't have announced it in the first place. They had a pretty much unlimited amount of time to not announce it. And from what we can see in the trailer, this looks finished. Like, this looks done. They're just doing the very last things that they need to prep. I mean, you would need about 6 months anyway to properly market this thing after so much silence. So yeah, I think January 21st, that's a good date. It's going to happen right then. But anyway, that's everything that I noticed in the trailer. If you found something interesting, lore-wise, or just stuff in the trailer that I might have missed that you think is cool, please leave it in the comments. I mean it. Please leave it in the comments, because I would like to know. Until next time, thank you very much for watching.